Alrighty. Well, can you first state your name and your age, please, for me?
Jamie Kirkland, and I am 90 years old.
Yeah. And we call you Mimi, so I'm gonna call you Mimi. All right, Mimi, can you tell me what your most favorite memory from childhood would be? Is there a day that just stands out?
Well, I don't really have a particular day uh, in mind. It was more life in general.
Yeah, can you tell me about it?
Uh, Life was just very easy, even though we did not, my family uh, were not wealthy people. Uh, and life was not real hard, but yet it wasn't real easy either.
Yeah.
But our life every day was uh, mother doing her thing and dad doing his thing, and the children just were left to play and do their thing, and uh, it wasn't like, well, don't do this and don't do that. It was just life was so uncomplicated.
Yeah.
And my most wonderful memories are just growing up in uh, a stable home with wonderful neighbors and and people that you knew every day. You went to church with them, you went to school with them, and it were people that you just had confidence in.
Right.
No, so it was not. I don't remember any particular day, but Christmas. If you narrowed it down a little bit, Christmas was such a wonderful time because we didn't get toys all year long.
Right.
It was only at Christmas, and that was such a wonderful day because we had toys, and mother always uh, purchased clothing as our gifts. And that's when we'd get a new coat. That's when we'd get toboggans and gloves and coats and uh, things like that.
Yeah.
It, it was practical things. But to us, oh my goodness, when we got to open a package. And so anyway, it was a wonderful time. And uh, one of the gifts that in our neighborhood, kids didn't get bicycles and all these things that you see today. They just weren't there. They
Yeah.
hadn't been
Right.
invented yet. But every kid got a pair of skates.
Oh,
So
cool.
today was a wonderful day because we all put on our skates and got outside and skied up and down the hillsides around our where I live.
I love
And
that.
it was a beautiful, wonderful day.
Yeah. That sounds fun. I love that. But is there any specific day that if you could just go back and relive that one day that just kind of stands out, or even several days, or
I don't know necessarily a day, but a time.
okay.
Uh, I think if I could go back, it would be when my children, my boys, were all like Bill would be like 10, and Dave would be like 8, and Jim would be like 6.
Hmm.
I think that was the most wonderful time that I can remember. All my growing up years were good, and all of raising my children was good. But that period of time has always been very special. And if I could go back, I'd go back to then. Uh, but then again, I think, oh my goodness, all of the times of them growing up, everything happening to them that was so good, and then them marrying and having babies, and then y'all marrying and having babies. It's hard to pick a favorite day, but
Sure.
we'll just say at that time.
Yeah. I mean, I don't honestly know if I could pick a specific day. I'm in agreement with you that there's been times that just the season of life has been wonderful. You know, that's awesome. I love it. Well, do you have any hidden talents that nobody knows about, or not many people may know about?
I'm afraid not.
No.
Well, let me put it like this. I don't know if it's a talent. Uh, you know, uh, earlier in my life, now, you know, your voice changes as you age.
Mhm.
It does, and unfortunately, mine has. But you know, I've always loved to sing,
Mhm.
and I didn't have uh, the opportunity to play an instrument, but I would have loved to. I would have loved to play the violin or play the piano or any instrument, but we just didn't have a piano in our home.
Mhm.
No, you know, and we didn't have the money uh, to do those things. And in fact, in my early years, life just was not like it is now. There wasn't the affluence that there is now. People had their needs met, but very few people uh, in my life and in my area that I lived had. I mean, they were unable
Right.
to go out and seek out education in talents. And I never did want to dance, but I did dance a little bit. So I felt like God blessed me with the desire and the enjoyment of talents, painting and drawing and singing and dancing and just all of those things that are talents, but they're also just things that we have that are not necessarily great, but they're things we enjoy.
Yeah. I love that. That's wonderful. Like, and I agree that, yeah, there may not be one particular, but that's the gifts and the talents that we're given to just to use and enjoy.
Right.
Yeah. Let's see, my next question I have on here. When did you get into gardening?
I did. My mother she was a woman to be admired and uh, she was just a great person to mimic, to be like, and I didn't set out to be like her. I mean, it was just, uh, she just was a wonderful person,
Yeah.
and her talents were many, but she was she had a large family, and my dad was a diabetic, a bad diabetic, and she just had a hard life. But one of her joys was gardening, and I saw the results of her working in the yard. I saw the flowers. I remember so vividly the flowers that she grew. We always had flowers in our house.
Yeah.
I don't care what season it was, she would find twigs or sticks or wildflowers, and uh, there were, we call them the woods, which was areas around our neighborhood that there were no houses, and it was just all grown up. And but she would send us, me and my brother, she would send us into the woods to get wildflowers. And so that sparked the interest in me. And when I married and was on my own, that was one of the first things I did was buy uh, some Sansevieria plants. And I bought my first little flower pots and painted them red, and Pap and I uh, set them up, and I had I had flowers in my house.
Yeah.
And so it was, I guess, my desire goes back. I don't ever remember not loving flowers, but I really did not do any gardening until I got married. And then, of course, that was my first planting experience. But when I moved to my first apartment, I planted some green onions beside the back door. And so I just, every year I've got to plant something. It's just part of springtime is getting out and breaking up the ground and planting something. So it's my love of gardening goes back a long time.
It goes all the way back, huh?
Yeah,
It's quite literally part of your roots, huh? Do you have a certain plant, a vegetable, or a flower that you love to grow? Or just all of it?
well, uh, mostly all. I plant more in my springtime planting is